Hello everyone, hello, welcome to another episode of Unscripted Ramblings. I'm Kendall Richardson, thank you for joining me. We are going to dive into spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home today, so I am very excited. This was a very good movie, very much enjoyed it, as I said in my previous video, but so much happened, especially right at the end of the film, that has some big game-changing stakes set up for the future of the MCU and Phase 4. So let's dive into the film. Where do I even start with this? Okay, let's start with Peter Parker, because this is his movie. I really enjoy so much Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker. He is one of the best actors in this franchise, in the MCU, like, that's without a doubt. But then again, they're all really great actors, so... But there's just something about Tom Holland that's just excellent. Like, he really captures who Spider-Man is and who Peter Parker is, like, to a T. Like, he's my favourite Spider-Man. I think he's the best one, as well. So, but yeah, seeing him in this movie was really interesting, and it was going to be hard to watch in parts, obviously because of, you know, Tony Stark unfortunately being dead now. It's so emotional. But it was just, I don't know, it was really good. Like, Peter's really great, captures the high school aspect of everything perfectly. His relationship with MJ in this one I really enjoyed, because it's funny, I want to compare it to Stranger Things, because I just finished season 3 of Stranger Things, and, you know, that involves high school kids, you know, young high school kids even, with, you know, dealing with romance and all of that growing up. And then here we have Peter Parker and MJ going through the same thing. I think Peter Parker and MJ's relationship, romance, is done a lot better than, for example, Mike and Eleven in Stranger Things. Their romance really felt very childlike, obviously, you know, adolescent, pure, innocent, fun, wholesome, all of that. But, like, there was something about it that just felt very, like, I don't want to say adult, but you know what I mean, like, it just, I don't know, there was something about Peter Parker and MJ's relationship and how they end up together that was it just felt very awkward and pure, like, and very genuine, authentic is what I'm going for, a lot more authentic, I think, than Eleven and Mike, because just the way the both of them are around each other, and the way they talk and steal glances at each other, and then just the whole, you know, that scene at the end of the film when they're on the bridge after everything's, you know, gone down with the big fight at the end with Mysterio, and, you know, they're both relieved that the other is okay, and then they share that really awkward kiss, but it's not even a breathtaking, he sweeps her off her feet kind of romantic kiss. It's very much an awkward, we're both 16 kissing for the first time kiss, and it was great, and I loved that, and I'm glad they didn't go for the big epic swoon moment. It was so great. I really loved it, and it makes perfect sense because they're in high school. They have a really natural chemistry, Tom Holland and Zendaya, beautiful on screen together. I would love to see them in more movies, apart from Spider-Man. If that would be possible, that'd be great, thank you. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And Peter's such a good person, and we know Peter Parker is such a good person, but the way he understands MJ and is just really trying so hard to kind of win her, because there's this other guy who's come along, who I actually really liked as well, and I found it hard to kind of hate him because he kind of turned into a dick right at the end or towards the end of the film, and I was like, no, you seem like a nice guy, like, you know, I mean, you've kind of become a dick, and I didn't like what they did with him. But other than that, yeah, I forgot where I was going. But no, with Peter being, just the whole thing, his plan for this trip with MJ, winning her over, the way he talks about it, how he talks to Ned about it the whole time, and how he's like, I'm going to buy a black dahlia necklace and I'm going to give it to her when we're on the Eiffel Tower and tell her how I feel. And, nothing goes according to plan, of course, but, he gets to give her the necklace in the end, but it's a bit broken, but she still really appreciates it. And I love that MJ's like this, she's not your traditional heroine or damsel in distress. She's very quirky, very strange, very, I don't know, she's not your normal kind of girl, and Peter loves that about her, clearly. They're both big nerds, so it works. But yeah, I love everything about the two of them, so I'm really glad that they're officially together now. That will be really exciting to see where that relationship goes, especially depending on, the huge revelation at the end of the film. How's that going to change their dynamic? What else can I talk about? Oh, well, we're going to talk about Tony Stark, I think. I was really expecting some kind of cameo from Robert Downey Jr. in this. I see now why they didn't need to do that, because he's in the movie, really. Like, you feel his presence throughout the entire thing. It's overwhelming, and, there's just all these reminders of him, and, and who he was, being Iron Man, and his impact, and the fact that he, everyone post-Endgame in the MCU really seems to understand it was him, obviously, that saved everyone, and he gave his life to save everyone, and, they're really paying tribute to him really strongly, and it's really great. And, the start of the movie, I was walking in there thinking I was going to start crying, because, they're probably going to address Endgame from the start, and they did, but it was in the most hilarious way. Like, the credits are coming in, and then I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston starts playing. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but people in the theater started laughing, and we were just like, all right, this is pretty funny. And then the images of Tony and Natasha and Steve Rogers, all over the screen, because the kids at high school have made a video of, paying tribute to the fallen Avengers, and which means Steve Rogers is clearly dead now, which is very sad. That was hilarious the way they did that. It was perfect. It was exactly what, like, the quality of these images, you could tell someone from high school had put it together. It was just awesome. And then Betty Brant and I forget the name of the other guy, her co-host, but the two of them delivering the story about what they're calling the blip. So the destination is also known as the blip, at least in the Spider-Man movies, and showing us footage of people getting turned to dust, and then we see them reappear just in the blink of an eye. It was very funny. That was very, very, very funny. And the way that they explained how that worked, yes, a few people online have been complaining that creates plot holes in terms of, like, well, if someone was traveling in a plane and if they reappear exactly where they were at the time that they were turned to dust, then they're clearly dead now, and, whatever, it's, you have to gloss over some things, I guess. But I really liked what they did with it, and, explaining how, like, because the guy I mentioned earlier, and I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but the, really nice guy who turned out to be a dick, he was 5 years younger than all of them, and now, because he didn't get snapped out of existence, he's now in their year level, so that means Ned and MJ both, and Flash Thompson and Betty, they all got dusted, because they're all still the same age 5 years later. But this guy, he used to be this young kid that they knew, and now he's older and mature and, in their class, and it's interesting. So I really liked the way that they explained it all. That was really cool. But yeah, Tony Stark has a huge influence over this film, and of course, naturally, over Peter Parker. And everyone is kind of turning to Spider-Man to be like, you've got to be the next Iron Man. You need to step up now, you know, because you were Tony's protege, basically, you know. And, you know, Happy Hogan kind of takes on this role of a surrogate dad. Like, Tony was a surrogate dad, now it's Happy Hogan, you know, looking out for Peter as much as he can. Obviously not as much as Tony did, because it was Tony, but, you know, Happy is doing a really good job. I really like Jon Favreau in this movie a lot. Happy's such a great character. He's always been one of my favourites, so it was really cool to see him and, you know, have this thing with Aunt May as well. That was a lot of fun to watch. They have some really good chemistry, him and Marissa Tomei, so that was really nice. And their awkward exchange at the end when Peter's like, so you guys, and, you know, they both had different answers, so that was very funny. It was really nice. And then just literally everywhere you go in this movie, Tony Stark you feel his presence. And he leaves Peter these glasses that belong to him, and I think they're the exact same glasses from Infinity War that we see him wearing. Or at least they're, you know, a different, same look, but maybe different model. But, and, you know, the fact that they're called Edith is great. My favourite thing about them, because Edith stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero, which is probably one of my favourite parts of the entire film when we find that out, because it's just so Tony and it's so perfect. It's just amazing. I love that so much. And it's really cool that he, you know, trusted Peter with these glasses, because, you know, they are the keys to Stark Industries, basically, and, you know, he has access to all of this weapons tech and just technology in general to help him be an Avenger and be Spider-Man. It's really awesome. But it was really emotional too, seeing the glasses and seeing Peter wear them, and, you know, because, like, that's Tony's thing, wearing his glasses. So, what else can I talk about? Let's talk about Mysterio then, because Mysterio is a huge, huge part of this film, obviously, because he's the villain. Yes, spoilers, this is a spoiler review, he's the villain, but, you know, if you know Spider-Man and, you know, Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, you know Mysterio is gonna be a bad guy. All the trailers were showing him as this hero. None of me and my friends we were like, no, don't trust you, don't believe you. And I was like, sort of, I guess maybe I was sort of on the fence, only because it would be such a Marvel Studios thing to turn it on its head and actually, like, well, everyone thinks he's going to be the bad guy. Oh, no, wait, let's just keep him as the good guy. Like, and they would do it in a really cool way. And I was convinced for most of the film, because Jake Gyllenhaal's performance was pretty good. He was very convincing as Quentin Beck, talking about his the multiverse being a thing, being from a different Earth, which I guess is bullshit now, considering, you know, he made the whole thing up. But who knows, we could get a multiverse at one stage. And that makes total sense. Like, why would they introduce the multiverse in the trailers? Like, why would you put such a big thing in the trailer if it's not actually... And we all fell for it, a lot of people did. But, you know, so yeah, it makes sense that it's not, you know, at least not yet, not real, the multiverse. So, but so no surprises that he was the bad guy in the end. But yeah, I was almost convinced, because, like, Peter was so convinced, you know, and of course Peter's probably just in a, like, well, Beck took advantage of him because he's in such a vulnerable state over losing Tony Stark, and Peter was just, he for some reason was feeling like he wasn't ready to kind of carry the weight that Iron Man carried, and I don't think he really liked or appreciated the expectations people were putting on him to kind of step up, because he's still a kid, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird that he's still struggling with this idea of him being the hero, because, you know, he's gone through a few movies now where we've seen his character grow a lot and come to terms with being Spider-Man, being the hero, being an Avenger now, you know. He was made an Avenger in Infinity War. But yet, at the end, in this one, he's still just... yeah, he's still just kind of like, I don't want this responsibility, it's too much, I can't handle it. So unless that's just like a high school kid kind of mentality of just, you know, how teenagers are with responsibility, they don't really, if it's too hard, they just kind of want to step back. Like, Peter just kind of wants to go back into that, you know, he keeps saying friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, that's all he really wants to be. He just wants to, you know, like he said as well, help the little guy. He doesn't want to be, you know, the only person called upon to handle these gigantic threats that you know, terrorize the world, you know. But that's, I guess, yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was fine that they showed him going through that, because I think by the end of the film, Peter Parker has kind of realized that, you know, through the, one of the things I loved about the final battle between him and Mysterio is because, you know, Mysterio had, like, really messed with him so bad using the drones and everything, to really just make him, just to kind of take him down a peg, even though he's always had spider sense, or Peter Tingle, as they call it in this movie, which is freaking hilarious. You know, that was weird too, the fact that his spider sense was... yeah, I'm finding little flaws, only little flaws, little bitty flaws. It was weird that his spider sense was kind of hit and miss in this film. But, I mean, dealing with Mysterio is a completely different kind of level of threat to an assault to his senses, I suppose. So maybe his spider sense just took time to adjust to the situation, because that really kind of explains... in the end, in battle, what I really liked was, you know, how he used his spider sense to fight Mysterio, and that was the only way he could beat him, was by trusting his spider sense and, you know, feeling his way through the fight and the battle. That was really well done and really well shot. So that was really great. But, yeah, as for Mysterio, Quentin Beck himself... the fact that they tied him in to the MCU and he wasn't just some kind of random villain was awesome. It's the same thing they did with Vulture in Homecoming. You know, he was a villain born of, you know, the Battle of New York, in where he, you know, he was supposed to come in with his crew and clean up, you know, some of the mess and take, you know, what he wanted for his company and all that stuff, and, you know, get some sweet money out of cleaning up, doing his bit. And then, you know, Tony Stark's, I can't remember what they were calling it. It's not damage control, or maybe it was damage control. I've forgotten, I haven't seen Homecoming in a little while. But, you know, they come in and you know, take over from Vulture and his, you know, his crew. So then he gets really pissed, and then he's like, well, you know, I'm gonna, you know, fuck shit up, basically. So in this case, Beck was the same in terms of that, because he used to work for Stark Industries and he worked on Bath, which was Tony's, I guess, what did he call it, like a, you know, really weird hologram therapy session that he had in Civil War right at the start. Beck worked on that, and Tony kind of took Bath from him and called it Bath, which I thought was hilarious that Beck was like, you know, pissed off at the name. But yeah, so basically, I'm really spaced out today. Wow. Yeah, so the way that Beck reacted to Tony slighting him like that was really crazy, and just that whole reveal scene was just jaw-dropping, because they put Jake Gyllenhaal in that scene where Tony's giving his speech using Bath and all of that, and that was really, really cool. And then randomly, one of the scientists from Iron Man 1 that Obadiah Stane was yelling at in the third act just happened to be there as well, and was also like, so it's kind of like Quentin Beck has formed this group of people slighted by Tony Stark, and they've all banded together to basically just, you know, destroy, I don't know, make themselves the heroes because they hate everything that Tony Stark stood for, because they hate him basically for what he did to them. You know, pretty extreme reaction basically, but well, that's their problem. But no, the connections to the MCU, perfect, awesome, loved it so much. It was really clever, really, really well written. What else? I loved the visual effects that came along with Mysterio as well, because I think in the comics he is actually like a visual effects artist, or just kind of he works in that kind of illusions kind of thing, industry, so, you know, that's where his powers come from. I really liked how they, you know, used Barf in this to like create his illusions, so he was never actually fighting anything. You know, he was using the Barf technology and the drones to make it look like he was fighting stuff, and the drones would blow things up to leave actual damage. So it was this huge foolproof plan for him that worked for a while in the movie, and it was just really, really well done. Loved it. As for Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, yeah, I really enjoyed the scenes of him with Peter Parker. Like, he was so convincing and genuine, you know. I really started to fall for it too, because I just really was enjoying the idea of Mysterio being a good guy. I know that's not gonna happen, but like, I thought it was really nice. It was really well done. And as soon as the turn happened, there was something about Jake Gyllenhaal's performance that kind of lessened for me. Like, it didn't get worse or anything, but it was just because he now had become this, you know, he was showing who he really is, very much this kind of unhinged, you know, pissed off scientist. Like, it was, yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it as much, but it grew on me. I think it was just because of the change was so drastic, from me thinking he was this pure hero who was genuinely trying to save Earth from monsters from another Earth, like, to just, you know, oh, he's actually just fooling everyone and he's crazy. So, okay, cool. I think I just had problem adjusting to that. But nevertheless, really good, really great villain. Did really enjoy overall, was awesome. What else can I talk about? I think that's basically it. Oh, I really loved, this is another really great scene. So the scene where Happy Hogan picks up Peter in the Netherlands, and, you know, they're on the plane talking, and Peter's just like not sure, like, he's so upset with himself because he gave Beck the glasses, and that's because that's what Beck wanted, because with Edith he was able to then really exact his revenge the way he wanted. So yeah, and then so they have that scene where Peter's just, he's devastated that he's done this, and because he didn't think he was worthy, because, you know, Tony said in the note he left Peter, or left whoever had the glasses, like, you know, whoever has these glasses, you know, is, I don't know if it was, is the next time, I can't remember the line, but it was just like, you know, he misread it in terms of, like, because he didn't believe himself, he doubted himself, so he just saw the message and was like, okay, I need to give these to the next Iron Man, to the next hero who is going to be worthy of them. And then, you know, he obviously made a huge mistake, didn't realise what he'd done, and then was feeling terrible about it, but Happy really brought him back from the edge and just really reinstated, just, look, Tony wouldn't have given you these glasses if he didn't think you were capable of handling yourself, you know, so Happy was such a good support for Peter. A lot of people online as well, I've seen, they've also kind of been talking about, well, why, like, let's have a Peter Parker Spider-Man movie without any kind of, you know, with him just autonomous on his own, like, not having to be babied or you know, looked after essentially by any outside forces like Happy Hogan or like Tony Stark. Let's have him independent. I'm totally okay with that not being a thing yet. I think we're gonna get that in the next film for sure. This movie, because this is really an epilogue for Phase 3. It's the end of Phase 3. It is post-Endgame. It is wrapping up Tony Stark's story. Peter Parker is part of Tony Stark's legacy, and because he was such a huge part of the world up until this point, it makes so much sense to have him so heavily involved with Peter Parker and the overarching story of the entire film. Like, it just makes so much sense. So this is really going to be the last time I think that we're going to see Peter kind of being, just not I guess for lack of a better word, not independent. Like, he's going to be, next film, he will be like his own hero, and he will be able to make his own decisions, because in the third act of this film, we did get to see him making his own decisions, because like after they had that talk, Happy was like, well, what are you going to do? Like, what should you do? Like, and then Peter was kind of just like, no, I know what to do. Like, he fully realized in himself, okay, I don't need to be told what to do. I can do this. I'm an Avenger. I was trusted with this technology for a reason. Let's, I've been to space. Let's just do this. It was a really great scene, one of the most heartwarming scenes in the film. And then the fact that, Peter Parker starts by, using the Stark technology and the holograms to try and build his new suit, and the way he did it. I just read a thing earlier today where Tom Holland said that he was watching Iron Man 1 and really trying to take from Tony Stark, from Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, and how he moved his arms and used everything like in that scene. So that's really awesome. It's just another point to prove how great Tom Holland is as Peter Parker. But that scene was so great, and then the fact that Back in Black started playing, like, it was so good, like, oh, excuse me, I'm dying a little bit. I got sick on holiday. That was just incredible, perfect, amazing, so great. A perfect mirror image of, Iron Man, like the best callback they could have done. And then the fact that that Peter Parker says, oh my god, I love Led Zeppelin. Like, it's so good, it's so perfect. Just loved it. Another one of my favorite scenes from the film. Okay, so let's talk about the two post-credit scenes, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So obviously the first scene is the big one, a scene that none of us really saw coming, because it starts so nice with like MJ and Peter being together, and then he takes her swinging for the first time, and just the look on her face, how terrified she is. That would be me if I was in that position, because I hate heights and I'd be throwing up. So that was really cute. And then just the huge reveal of the fact that Mysterio, before he died, his final, final knife in the back, if you will, was, making it seem, using the technology, making it seem that Peter Parker killed him, actually just was the villain of the entire thing. So that was pretty intense. I was like, oh, okay, that really sucks, because that's not true at all. But okay, I'm sure Spider-Man will be able to figure this out. It's fine. And then J. Jonah Jameson rocks up. J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson from the Sam Raimi trilogy. Holy shit, I think I squealed when this happened. He came on screen, like speaking online from it was like the dailybugle.net or something was the website, and just going after Spider-Man like only JJJ knows how. Amazing. Such a moment. if you don't get that spoiled for you and you go in watching the movie and see that happen, react, oh my god, perfect, so great, so good. Like, none of us, no, it didn't seem like we deserved that scene because it was so awesome. Absolutely awesome. Never ever, like, that's like, it's fan service, yes, but I don't care, it's great. And then he goes on to reveal that Mysterio revealed, I can't remember who says it, but yeah, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and they even put a photo of Peter Parker on the screen, and then everyone finds out who Spider-Man really is, and then that's like the end of the scene, and it's just like, what? Like, what? This has never happened before. Like, this is the first time in a Spider-Man movie, like, the world has found out who he is, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, but I doubt it. Just insane. So I liked, though, the parallel of that with Tony Stark revealing his Iron Man at the end of Iron Man 1. I think that's a nice little, bookend, because at the end of Iron Man 1, the first film in the MCU, he tells everyone he's Iron Man. And then here we are in the epilogue, the last film of Phase 3, the Infinity Saga, first 3 phases of the MCU, and here we have another hero who was, who people are calling the next Iron Man, who people are, people know is Tony Stark's protege, has now had his identity revealed as well, but obviously against his will, and just, what are they going to do with this? How is Peter going to try and figure his way out of it? I don't think he will. I think he's going to, there's going to be no putting the chaos back in the box. It's just unleashed now. That's it. So the next movies, like Spider-Man 3, whatever that's going to be, or the next, I don't even know where this is going to come up again, because this is such a huge cliffhanger and such a huge thing for them to drop, and they haven't even announced a third Spider-Man film yet. We don't even know what's happening. So are we going to have to wait for that, or is there going to be an earlier film that may have Spider-Man in it or may reference it? Like, there's so many different options that are going to happen. It's just, I don't know, don't know what to expect, but it's going to be amazing, whatever it is. And the second post-credit scene was really interesting, because it was the reveal that the entire film, Nick Fury and Maria Hill were Talos and Soren, Skrulls from Captain Marvel, the entire time. Another awesome twist. Didn't see that coming, but in hindsight made sense, because, Fury and Hill did kind of seem a little weird in the film, but I just kind of accepted it as like, oh, okay, whatever. I guess this is how they are post-snap, maybe they just went through some shit. I mean, they were both turned into dust, so that'll do a number on anyone. But no, Skrulls the entire time. And then we see Nick Fury in space on a giant Skrull ship. Huge implications, again, going forward for Phase 4 of the MCU. It was just crazy. I wasn't expecting, we haven't had big post-credit scenes like this for a long time. And it was, the first reveal with, everyone finding out that Peter Parker as Spider-Man is probably the most insane post-credit scene that's ever been in an MCU film, and I'm so happy that it happened. It was great. But this one really does kind of give you a better idea of what the MCU is going to be going forward. I think it's clearly going to be a lot more cosmic. Sure, there's still going to be a lot of Earthbound heroes and movies that are coming, we know of, but, we've got Captain Marvel 2 coming, The Eternals coming, Guardians Volume 3 coming, there's a lot more space adventures that are going to be happening over the next couple of years. So it makes sense that now they've kind of introduced Fury, kind of leading this space defense system, which, people are either speculating it's two things from the comics that they're bringing into the MCU. The first being SWORD, which stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. Another great acronym, thanks so much, Marvel. That, I really like the idea of it being SWORD, and the other idea is that it could be Alpha Flight, which makes a lot of sense as well, because Captain Marvel, I don't know if she is currently in the comics, but has been at a time commander of Alpha Flight, and given her connections with Nick Fury, would make a lot of sense if that's what it was. But we're not going to actually find out if, you know, either of these are correct. I mean, it could be something completely different, who knows, until maybe Captain Marvel 2 or the Eternals, who knows. No idea, but there's a lot to look forward to. Okay, I guess I might sign off then, but before I do, I just wanted to quickly mention there was no Stan Lee cameo in this film, and when a friend of mine pointed that out to me recently, I got very sad, because I was just like, oh yeah, of course. I didn't even I was so caught up in the, you know, the movie itself, didn't really, and then the post-credit scenes just didn't really stop to think, oh yeah, there's no Stan in this, and then there was nothing. It was, yeah, that was sad. So sorry to make everyone sad at the end of this video, but get excited for the rest of the MCU. Phase 4 will be commencing next year, most likely with the Black Widow movie that's filming right now. So it's going to be a long time before I sit down and record an MCU film. This is a film. An MCU video, I should say, but you know, there'll be trailers. Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con is coming up in a couple of weeks. That's so super exciting. The Marvel Studios have a panel, so there's going to be a lot of news coming out of that. And then in August or September, D23 is happening, and you know, there could be some more MCU related announcements coming out of that. So I may or may not, you know, have some things to say. So watch this space. Thank you for watching this space and listening to me ramble about Spider-Man Far From Home. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Leave a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Would appreciate all of that. Thank you so much. I've been Kendall Richardson, and you just experienced non-scripted ramblings. Bye-bye.